Alright, hey guys, and welcome back, as I am back with another Masters of the Universe Origins review. I know it's been a while since I've done one, but I just have such a backlog of Masters of the Universe stuff to get through that I needed to take a break from this for a while, but I am back with a ton of Masters of the Universe Origins and other MOTU related reviews coming up in the very near future, so definitely be on the lookout for that, because I have a lot of stuff to get through. But for today, let's take a look at the Wave 3 2021 Masters of the Universe Origins Zodac figure. So, as you'll notice, like I've called out in previous figures before, the card looks fantastic as always. Pretty much what we've come to expect for the 2021 line. You have the logo up on the top, new for 21. The little yellow starburst calling out the modern posing and retro play. The Masters of the Universe logo up top. The Mattel logo in the bottom. Zodac, Cosmic Enforcer, called out in nice white bold print on the top there. And then you have, of course, the Masters of the Universe logo coming out of the red bursting rocks, which looks fantastic. We have the figure Zodac here on the blister card. And then, of course, we have the Dimensional Doom comic that all of these figures were paired with in the Wave 3 series. So now let's flip this around and take a look at the back, because that's where all of the action is with these figures all the time, because there's just so much great artwork with these figures. And as you can see here, we have Zodac. He's kind of lurking and watching in the background. I like to kind of call him and relate him to like the Watchers and like Marvel Comics. You can see he has his like cosmic throne back there, which is kind of a take on just the throne from Castle Grayskull in the original and the new series. And we have He-Man and Skeletor battling it out on a mountaintop here, all the way up in the clouds. And as a nice Easter egg and call out, we have Point Dread with the Talon Fighter in the background. So we already know that's going to be coming out soon, as that's already details of that have been released. And then the description we have here, we have Zodac's immense power comes with the price of maintaining the cosmic balance from anyone, good or evil. So yeah, like I said, you know, Zodac never gets involved. He's just kind of like a watcher, and you know, he's neutral, really. It's hard to place him. He's not really good or evil. He just kind of has to keep everything in check, keep it all in its own balance. And then of course we have the little call outs here, which would have shown his power features, but since, you know, a lot of these figures don't have any, we just have the picture with the fit laser pistol in hand, and then the twist into powerful battle positions, calling out all the different posability that, of course, this new wave of figures has. And this is the standard Origins 6-back, which is He-Man, She-Ra, Skeletor, Roboto, Zodac, and Merman. Alright, so now that we've taken a look at Zodac on the card here, let's go ahead and open him up. We'll see what you get with him, and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison next to the original MOTU figure, and we'll check him out. Alright, so now we've gotten Zodac out of the package, and let's see everything that you're going to get with this figure, of course. Like I said, it comes with the Dimensional Doom comic that comes with all of the figures in the Wave 3 series. If you haven't seen that, check out my first one in this series, I believe with She-Ra, and I go into that in a little more detail, which is a nice little mini comic that comes with all of them. And of course we have our Origins Zodac figure. He comes with his laser pistol, and he also comes with his standard red chest armor. Now I took this off just so that way you can see how this goes on, and just how he looks with and without his armor, and how easy it is to put his armor on. Now, of course, you know, with all these, posability is the key thing. I think that the basic figure looks very good. Looks just like how Zodac should look, with the with his white belt here, the gray boots and loincloth, the red and gray futuristic space helmet with those really bizarre black, just deadpan stare eyes, and everything looks really good. Of course, you have all the posability, you know, that's known for in this series, at the elbows, the hands, that you can remove the hands, you can remove the shoulder, you can remove the head, you can remove the waist, the legs, the knees, all that good stuff. I always thought it was bizarre that Zodac has kind of like those Skeletor talon type feet. Very bizarre. Kind of like a monster or something. You know, he's supposed to be like a normal man, but like you see these fins and stuff. He's like kind of like that same race as like, you know, Skeletor and Keldor. So I always find that weird. So overall, the base figure looks very good. He actually kind of is basically just a recopy of like Stratos, except with a different head. So let's go ahead and we'll put his armor on him here. And of course, just like everything else in the series, this has the flexible kind of rubbery armor, which is nice, so that way it's not like a cheap brittle plastic that's going to snap or break. Pretty high quality. And that's just going to go over the front like this. And now these actually can be a little bit harder to put together because since they're so flexible, honestly, that can make it a little more challenging. And we just pull that through there. Move this arm out of the way there. There we are. And we'll hook the remaining clasp in the back. And let's give him his laser pistol here, which is actually pretty nice. The plastic on this is pretty solid, so it doesn't really feel like it's going to break. And the coloration's good. This is actually probably about 95% accurate to the correct color of the vintage figure. So we'll give him that. And he holds on to it pretty well, which is something that I've noticed that a lot of these figures lack in the Origins line, is that they tend to drop their accessories a lot. I don't know if anybody else has had a problem with that, but I know I certainly have. And they just tend to not have the best grip because this plastic is just so malleable and flexible and cheap that they just lose their grip on their accessories very easily. So overall, I think that he looks really good. I think this is a pretty good representation of the vintage figure. I mean, there's really not much to get wrong. Zodac's a very basic and simple figure to redo. So, yeah, no real complaints here. I think the only complaint I have, honestly, is just with his neck. It's a little bit shorter than in the original. Like, he has, like, no neck. So that is the only problem I can really call out. And in the vintage one, you could see his neck a little bit more. And that kind of looks a little bizarre that he doesn't have a neck. But, you know, it's definitely not a deal breaker. So now let's, we'll put him off to the side, and then we'll take a look and do a side-by-side comparison. Alright, so here we have the Origins Zodac next to the original MOTU vintage Zodac figure. And now mine does not have his red armor, so I just have stuff from the weapons pack to do a comparison with. And then even with his gun, this isn't his original gun, this is Cobra Khan's gun. Cobra Khan's laser pistol is more of an orangey tone. So his would actually be more of like this color of red, but a little bit darker. Be like a burnt maroon shade. Almost it's kind of like if you combine this shade of red with that shade of red, and then you would get the color for his correct laser pistol. But still, this gives you a pretty good idea of you know, how similar or dissimilar, that they are. That's another problem with these Origins figures that I constantly have, is these ankle joints. They are really, really poor. And like on other figures that I'm going to review later on, like with Clamp Champ, any of the figures that have any accessory larger than a small sword or a shield, they topple over all the time. So that's a big problem I've had with all of the figures in this line. It's just at some point you're going to set them up and you're going to hear them clunk, and that's a big no-no. I really wish that Mattel would put a little more quality into the production of these figures. Even though I love the Origins line, they do look great at first glance, but there's so many little details in between that just make them a little subpar in my opinion. I'm still going to continue to collect them, but I just wish that they would tweak them out. But anyway, aside from that, his power punch does not work, unfortunately. His spring needs to be repaired. But, you know, they look almost identical. The only thing you can really notice as a difference is, like I said, with the neck. You know, like he actually has a neck, as to where the Origins Zodac, you know, he is definitely missing a neck. I think the details in the helmet look good. I think the face looks good. I don't think there's any problem there at all. Although I do say this Zodac, he kind of looks a little bit more like the Rocketeer. I don't know what it is. He just has that Rocketeer look to him. But not bad. You know, I think that everything is done pretty right and pretty correct. So now let's, like I said, I don't have his red armor, but that way you can get a look just with him. And this would have been the weapons pack, black armor. Just to kind of give you an idea. Of the differences between the two. Okay, so this is Zodac with his black weapons pack armor. And again, if you see these on eBay, a lot of people try to sell these as like, oh, like rare, you know, black version Zodac. That's absolute nonsense. There was a million of these weapons battle packs that were produced that came with the blue axe, the blue weapons, the black shield, the black laser pistol. Don't buy into it. Do not buy them at the high prices people are asking for. I see them on eBay all the time, and it's just it's nonsense. It's just armor paired, you know, with a figure, which is exactly what the battle pack was intended for, was to just have more fun with your figures and give them more weapons and, you know, things to do. So even though it's a different color, kind of gives you a good idea of what the vintage one should look like. Which I think looks really nice. Although I do like the red a lot better because it just doesn't make any sense because he has the red helmet. And, you know, if you had a black helmet, if somebody did a custom of this, I would think that would look good. But just the all red and then the gray and the black, just it kind of doesn't match up that well. So I don't really like that to be his main theme. And then we'll give him Cobra Khan's gun. And you can see just how much more that these little accessories and stuff, how they snap. Like their hands are so molded that when you put an accessory into their hand, it is not going to go anywhere. You don't have to worry about that popping out or popping loose. And but overall, I still think the Origins figure looks good. But it's just, you know, there's so much of a difference. You know, like with the original vintage figure, absolutely no problem standing up. You know, he's not falling over. He's not going anywhere. I mean, he is repaired. I will say that, but still. You know, you don't have to worry about those silly ankle joints. So, you know, you put him down, as long as his leg bands are good, he's not going to fall over. With the newer versions, like, what's going on? Like, you put him down, and he might actually go down for the count. So, all the nice detailing aside, I think that's really stupid. And I just think that the locking ankle joints are completely unnecessary. But overall, I think that this is a good version of Zodac. Let's give him more of that little stout-legged stance here. Now we can get a nice comparison. You can see, you know, they're both about pretty much the same height and look pretty similar overall. But, you know, there you go again. I barely touched it, barely moved it, you know, and the ankles come out of socket. So that's a huge problem I have just with all of these figures in general. But I think overall the new Zodac looks good. I think it's a really well done figure. I just think the core elements of the figures need to be retooled a little bit. Especially, too, with the shoulders. They look very bizarre. They look like watermelons or like balloons. Like, it does not look right. Like, that looks like a person's shoulder in the original. And, like, this is like a clown. This is cartoony. I know it's for posability, but I would rather sacrifice that and just have a little less posability in the shoulders to make it a more streamlined, you know, nice-looking figure. Like, the kneecaps are something I've had to come to terms with and live with since this series been out. But even when you really take a look at that at the side, it's like, oh my god, it's like, did he injure himself, like, with all these figures? Like, especially with Teela and Evil Lyn. Like, they look so bizarre with those kneecaps. They really look out of place. But anyway, like I said, I still think it's a good-looking figure. If you can still find Zodac out there in your local Target or your local Walmart, I definitely recommend picking him up. He looks nice with all the rest of the figures in the line. And yeah, so thanks for tuning in, guys, and checking out this MOTU Origins Zodac Wave 3 figure with me today. And like I said, I have a lot more MOTU stuff coming up and MOTU Origins stuff coming up, so definitely stay tuned for that. And I will see you guys back here next time.
Hey guys, if you liked the video that you just watched, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and you can follow me at Facebook at King of Retro or Twitter at #8ByteBrian. See you next time.